The real birth certificate has your daughter's name exactly as you wanted it, Luna Margaret Thompson, and I've already called security about your mother-in-law trying to commit fraud, the clerk said, holding up the forged document where my MIL had scratched out Luna and written Eugenia in shaky handwriting. I stared at the two birth certificates through my post-surgery haze, trying to process that while I was unconscious from hemorrhaging during delivery, my mother-in-law Patricia had actually attempted to legally rename my child after her dead mother. But what made my blood run cold wasn't just the forgery. It was realizing my husband James had anticipated this exact scenario and warned the hospital staff, meaning he knew his mother was capable of something this insane and hadn't told me. The hospital room spun slightly as I tried to sit up straighter, my incision screaming in protest. The clerk, whose badge read Maria Santos birth registration, looked at me with a mixture of sympathy and professional concern. Mrs. Thompson, your husband left very specific instructions. He said if anyone claiming to be family tried to alter the birth certificate while you were incapacitated, we should refuse and notify security immediately. He was quite insistent. Where is James? My voice came out hoarse. The last thing I remembered was being wheeled into emergency surgery after 30 hours of labor went catastrophically wrong. He's with security and administration right now. Your mother-in-law is being escorted from the premises. Maria set both documents on my bedside table. She's also been added to the no-access list. She won't be allowed back in without your explicit permission. I picked up the forged certificate with trembling hands. Patricia's attempt at forgery was almost pathetic. Eugenia written in blue ink over correction fluid, clearly added after the original typing. But the audacity of it, the sheer presumption. How long was I unconscious? About 6 hours after surgery. Your daughter is perfectly healthy, by the way. She's in the nursery. Would you like me to have them bring her in? Please. I needed to see Luna, to make sure she was real and safe and still mine. As Maria left, I studied the real birth certificate. Luna Margaret Thompson. 7 pounds, 2 ounces. Born at 3:47 a.m. Everything correct, everything as James and I had decided months ago. We'd had the name conversation exactly once with Patricia, at a family dinner when I was 5 months pregnant. She'd immediately launched into how family names were tradition, and how Eugenia was such a strong name, and how modern names like Luna lacked substance. I'd politely but firmly told her we'd already chosen. James had backed me up. I thought that was the end of it. Apparently not. The door burst open and James rushed in, his face a mixture of relief and rage I'd never seen before. Sarah, thank God you're awake. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. When they took you in for surgery, I should have stayed, but Luna needed. You knew she'd try something like this. He stopped mid-sentence, his shoulders sagging. I hoped I was wrong. But you warned the staff. Yes. Why didn't you warn me? James sank into the visitor's chair, running his hands through his hair. He looked like he'd aged 5 years since I'd last seen him. Because every time I try to tell you how bad she really is, you think I'm exaggerating. Because she's always more subtle when you're around. Because I didn't think she'd actually go this far. James, she tried to change our daughter's name while I was unconscious from emergency surgery. I know. His voice broke. God, I know. When Maria called me and said Mom was in the office with documents, I ran so fast I knocked over a nurse. A knock interrupted us. A nurse wheeled in a bassinet, and suddenly everything else faded away. Luna was perfect, tiny fists waving, dark hair sticking up at odd angles, making small snuffling sounds that melted my heart instantly. Hi, baby girl, I whispered as the nurse helped position her for me to hold, mindful of my incision. I'm your mama, and you're Luna, no matter what anyone says. James moved closer, tears streaming down his face. I'm so sorry I wasn't there when you woke up. I'm sorry about Mom. I'm sorry about everything. Tell me everything. From the beginning. He took a shaky breath. When they took you for surgery, I was terrified. Luna had just been born, she was crying, you were hemorrhaging, and Mom just kept saying this wouldn't have happened if she'd had a scheduled C-section like I told her to. As if you'd chosen to nearly die just to spite her. I wasn't surprised. Patricia had opinions about everything. My natural birth plan, my doctor choice, my decision to breastfeed, even the color we'd painted the nursery. After they got you stable, I went with Luna for her tests and shots. Mom said she'd wait in your room. When I came back an hour later, she was gone. The nurse at the desk said she'd gone to the administrative offices. And you knew immediately. I suspected. She'd made so many comments about the name. Luna sounds like a dog's name. Eugenia has heritage. Think of the nicknames, Loony Luna. He mimicked his mother's prissy tone perfectly. So I ran down there and sure enough, she's sweet-talking some poor intern about fixing a clerical error on the birth certificate. How did she even know where to go? She's been volunteering at the hospital gift shop for months. I think she was planning this, Sarah. Learning the layout, making friends with staff. The calculation required for that level of premeditation made my skin crawl. This wasn't an impulsive decision born from emotion. This was planned. What happened when you caught her? I lost it. Completely lost it. Started yelling about fraud and identity theft and elder abuse. That got security's attention fast. Then Maria, bless her, recognized me from when we'd done the pre-registration and remembered my warnings. She'd already refused Mom's request, but Mom was getting aggressive. Aggressive how? Demanding to speak to supervisors, claiming she had medical power of attorney, saying you'd asked her to handle it before surgery. When security showed up, she tried to play the confused grandmother card. I was just trying to help, officers. My daughter-in-law is so overwhelmed. Luna stirred in my arms, making a tiny mewing sound. I adjusted her carefully, marveling at how something so small could be so perfect. Where is she now? Probably in the parking lot calling every family member to tell them how cruel and ungrateful we are. My phone's been buzzing nonstop. I turned it off. James, why didn't you tell me it was this bad? Really tell me. He was quiet for a long moment, watching Luna's fingers curl around mine. Because you're an optimist. You believe in family, in giving people chances, in assuming the best. And I love that about you. I didn't want to be the one to crush that. I kept thinking if I just managed her better, if I set boundaries, if I protected you from the worst of it. That's not your job. We're partners. I know. She's my mom. No matter how toxic she is, she's my mom. And part of me kept hoping she'd get better once the baby was here. That being a grandmother would soften her. Instead, she committed fraud while I was potentially dying. Yeah. He laughed bitterly. Mom of the Year material right there. Another knock. This time it was a woman in a suit, accompanied by a security officer. Mrs. Thompson? I'm Linda Reeves, hospital administrator. I wanted to personally apologize for what happened and assure you we're taking this very seriously. I appreciate that. We've reviewed security footage. Your mother-in-law was quite persistent. She attempted to access the records office 3 times with different staff members before finding someone new who didn't know the situation. We're reviewing our procedures to prevent this from happening again. What about legally? Is what she did actually criminal? Linda exchanged glances with the security officer. Attempting to falsify a legal document is indeed a crime. We can provide all documentation and footage if you choose to press charges. Press charges. Against my mother-in-law. My daughter's grandmother. We need to think about it, James said quickly. Thank you for the information. After they left, we sat in silence except for Luna's soft breathing. She's going to make our lives hell if we press charges, I said finally. She's already making our lives hell. At least with charges, there'd be consequences. What about the rest of your family? Dad will side with her because he always does. My sister Kelly will say we're overreacting because she lives across the country and doesn't deal with Mom regularly. My brother might actually support us. He's been Mom's scapegoat his whole life. So we lose half your family if we protect ourselves. We lose them anyway if we don't. Mom's not going to forgive this. Being caught, being banned from the hospital, being embarrassed in front of staff. In her mind, we've committed the ultimate sin. We've made her look bad publicly. He was right. I'd seen Patricia's vindictive streak before, usually aimed at waitresses who got orders wrong or store clerks who didn't grovel sufficiently. Now we'd be the targets. I need to feed her, I said as Luna began fussing. James helped me get positioned, then sat back down, still looking shell-shocked. There's more, he said quietly. When security was escorting her out, she said something. What? That this wouldn't have happened if you were a real mother instead of a career woman playing house. That a real mother would have honored family traditions. That Luna would suffer for having a mother who put her own selfish desires first. The words hit like physical blows. I'd worked until 2 weeks before my due date, finishing a major project for my firm. Patricia had made plenty of snide comments about priorities and maternal instincts. She's wrong, James said fiercely. You're already an amazing mother. The way you fought through that labor, the way you're holding her now even though I know you're in pain. Don't let my mother's poison get to you. I'm trying. It's just, what if she's right? What if I should have? No. Stop. You know who else worked until right before delivery? My mom. You know why? Because my dad had been laid off and they needed the income. But somehow when she did it, it was noble sacrifice. When you do it, it's selfishness. She rewrites history to suit her narratives. Luna finished nursing, and I carefully burped her, marveling at how instinctive it felt despite having no idea what I was doing. We should press charges, I said suddenly. Not out of vengeance, but for protection. There needs to be a paper trail. What if she escalates? What if she tries to take Luna? She'd need grounds for that. She just tried to forge a legal document. You think she wouldn't manufacture grounds? Claim we're unfit parents? Call CPS with false reports. James paled. I didn't even think, but you're right. She's already proven she'll lie to officials. God, how did I not see this coming? Because she's your mom and despite everything, you love her. That's not a failing, James. That's human. I must need my head examined. You need support. We both do. This isn't normal mother-in-law stuff. This is. I don't even know what this is. Pathological, James suggested. Narcissistic personality disorder? Some kind of breakdown. Maybe all of the above. But whatever it is, we need to protect Luna. As if sensing we were talking about her, Luna opened her eyes. Deep blue for now, though they'd probably change. She looked right at me with that unfocused newborn gaze, and I felt a surge of fierce protectiveness I'd never experienced before. Okay, James said. We press charges. We document everything. We protect our family. And therapy. We need therapy. Individual and couples. This is going to get ugly. It's already ugly. But yeah, therapy. Definitely therapy. Another knock. Maria the clerk was back, looking apologetic. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I need to know what name to file for the official record. The real certificate is correct, Luna Margaret, but given the circumstances, I wanted to triple-check. Luna Margaret Thompson, I said firmly. Our daughter's name is Luna. Maria smiled. Beautiful name. Means moon in Latin. My daughter's middle name is Luna. Patricia said it sounds like a dog's name, James muttered. Well, Patricia sounds like someone who'd try to forge legal documents. Maria shot back, then looked mortified. I'm sorry, that was unprofessional. No, I said, surprising myself by laughing. That was perfect. And accurate. After Maria left with the confirmed paperwork, James and I sat with our daughter, planning our next steps. Call a lawyer. Call a therapist. Change our locks. Patricia had a key for emergencies. Install security cameras. Password protect all medical information. I'm sorry our first day as parents is tainted by this, James said. It's not tainted. Look at her. She's perfect. Your mother can't touch that. She tried to erase Luna's name, but Luna is still here, still herself, still ours. Patricia failed. When you put it that way. Besides, we have a great story for Luna when she's older. On the day you were born, your grandmother went so crazy they banned her from the hospital. Maybe wait until she's 30 to tell that one. We both managed to laugh, quietly so as not to disturb Luna. It felt good to laugh, even in the midst of this insanity. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This isn't over. A grandmother has rights. You poison my son against me, but I won't let you steal my granddaughter too. E deserves better than a mother like you. P. She's calling her E, I said, showing James the text. She's still refusing to use Luna's name. And she got a new phone number to harass you. Great. Screenshot that. We'll need it for the restraining order. Restraining order? If she's already circumventing being blocked, escalating her behavior, making threats, yeah. Restraining order. I looked down at Luna, peaceful in sleep, unaware of the battle raging around her. She deserved better than this. Better than a grandmother who saw her as a possession to be controlled, a legacy to be molded. Better than family drama and legal battles and toxicity. But she had us. And we'd protect her, even if it meant protecting her from family. Luna Margaret Thompson, I whispered to her. Your name is Luna. You are loved. You are wanted. You are perfect exactly as you are. And nobody gets to change that. James wrapped his arms around both of us, careful of my incision. Team Thompson against the world? Team Thompson against the world. I love you. Both of you. We love you too. Outside our room, I could hear the normal sounds of the maternity ward. Babies crying, families laughing, lives beginning. Normal, healthy sounds. We'd find our way back to normal eventually. A new normal, one with boundaries and protection and chosen family instead of toxic blood relations. But for now, we just held each other and our daughter, Luna, whose name meant moon, who would light up our darkest nights, who was already worth every battle we'd have to fight. The beginning of our family. The real one. The one we chose.